Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Gaming Daddy channel. So today I have a short discussion for you guys, and just basically it's something that I feel the Division developers did not get to deliver to the community. And there have been many reasons why, because we've actually mentioned this particular topic over and over again in the Division community, and still till date there really isn't anything that we've seen to move towards that direction. Now, this is a survival mode. From the footage that you're seeing, this is actually one of the weather phenomenons that happens in the map for the Division 2, where you get a little bit of a sandstorm. And I feel like this could have been some sort of a basis in order to, in a sense, develop a survival mode from a plot perspective all the way through a gameplay perspective. Because not only do we have the mechanics in this game, but I felt like the audience would have been much more receptive of this particular survival mode if it was done in the Division 2, perhaps than it was in the Division 1. So before we even jump any further, let's kind of go back and kind of backtrack a little bit to see exactly what's going on. So survival mode was this one-off mode that you went into the game. It was basically a kind of a battle royale type deal, but not necessarily. The reason is because everything was kind of working against you. The weather, the elements, time, and infection, and really cool, amazing gameplay mechanics were working against you as the player, and you had to go deliver a particular objective. Now, in that objective delivery, you had to deal with enemies both in the light zone, basically the open world, and also in the dark zone. So there was a really cool structure to it that really made a whole lot of sense. But there was something that was quite interesting. The Division 1 was not necessarily the most rewarding game. I know a lot of people, talk about the Division 1. I talk about the Division 1 from time to time, and I'll tell you it's one of the better games out there. But with the Division 2 had like this very slow rise in its progression, and in my opinion has finally matched and beaten the Division 1 in many other aspects. Now, in terms of atmosphere and some things that hold nostalgia, Division 1 still remains very strong as a game, even currently when it's not even being supported. But when you look at the reward system from the Division 1, I remember grinding the Division 1 purely for the love of the game. I did not get rewards easily. I didn't get exotics. I didn't get gear that I wanted easily. I would grind for weeks. I remember grinding literally for 3.5 weeks to get a classified striker pair of gloves. It was just that bad for these things to drop, and that was the Division 1. Very difficult to get anything. And so I remember that, that kind of experience, and I remember survival did not have the reward structure to justify the mode itself. Now, as you think about it, even though survival was such a cool mode, because the reward structure wasn't there, I don't think a good number of players engaged in it. And like I said, I purely played the Division 1 for love of the game more than anything, so I did engage in survival. But I remember over time that, survival did not necessarily gain too much of that traction that it could have if perhaps the Division had actually been a game that was in a solid place, when the mode was released. I remember it created a lot of hype. People were excited about the mode. I remember one of our fellow content creators in the community actually did a thing called Survival Sunday. His name is Afflicted Gamer, a good buddy of mine. Wonderful idea, very dedicated to the community, where he basically walked a lot of people through survival, but that was the hardcore community. And I think one thing that survival did not enjoy in the Division 2 was they probably put it aside because they didn't know how to make it palatable for a wider audience. And the Division 2 is much widely a casual player's game. If you're a hardcore player, you're probably going to be playing a little bit of the Division 2 from time to time, but there are other games that usually suit some hardcore players. And so I believe that the survival mode, if it needed to be put in any game, it should have been the Division 2, because the casual audience would have been open to it. And the way the reward structure is for the Division 2, it is much more casual friendly. And I think this was an opportunity that the development team basically put aside. I clearly remember having a conversation one time with a developer on a Twitch live stream. I think it was Amper Camper. He was a community manager and he was streaming. And I asked the question, I said, hey, do you guys have any plans for survival in the future? And he said, we currently have no plans for survival in the future. And so the development team basically have kept that stance so far. We've been speculating that there'll probably be a year 3 3 content. We've been speculating that there might not be one, but if there is, we've also speculated that this is most likely going to be it. Now, even if they don't have the capacity to put a kind of survival together like they did in the Division 1, where they used the entire map, which made the survival run either a 10-minute speed run, or if you wanted to take your time, you kind of stayed in the map for hours and hours on because you found ways to stay alive. I think that there are structures that the Division 2 still has that they could have leveraged in order to bring a mode like this. Kinley College right now is, in my opinion, the biggest waste of map that has ever existed in the Division history. I don't mean to be blunt like that. You guys know I find some time to appreciate the developers for the work that they put into this game, because on my research on what video game development is like, I've noticed that the Division is, in my opinion, one of the best developed games in the world. Fight me in the comment section for that one. I'll happily provide a lot of a body of evidence for you just to see how intricate our game is. And I think Kinley College should have been that particular mode that basically got something that drew players to it, other than just a one-off event where they put an exotic and locked it behind that, and then made the event kind of roll over and over, in the sense that the exotic was not even that big of a deal, and the mission was not that interesting. And so I think this is where the opportunity should have been. Now, for future purposes, if they're going to bring out a third-year content, or if they're not going to bring out a third-year content, that's up to them. But I think at the end of the day, we suspect heavily that a Division 3 is in the works. And if a Division 3 is in the works, based on hiring, based on whispers within the community, based on logic and money, if a Division 3 is in the works, this is something that they need to bring to the table. Nostalgia is very big. It's a huge deal to be able to get a community that's been following a product or a game. It's a very good tool to get them interested in what your work is. And I think that's one of the tools that the development needs to, use in order to further its agenda of building a community around this game, or a stronger and bigger community around this game. There is a lot of opportunity. I see it. I'm an optimist. I've said this before many times. I'm a stubborn optimist. I remember back in the day, people used to tell me the Division is crap, the game's gonna die, blah 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 blah, and I told them, yeah, whatever, I'm still gonna keep supporting Division 2. And that stubborn optimism, some dubbed it as blind and basically delusional frame of mind, but I knew that there was something special about the Division 2, be it an imperfect game, and I've still stuck around because I know that there's more that this game can offer, be it in this iteration of the franchise or in a future franchise. And that's what I look forward to. I'm thinking and I'm hoping that the development team can really nail things down as this game continues, in a franchise of its own, because like I said, there's a lot of opportunity right now. So many new players have been able to pick up this game and are telling their friends about this game and are going to keep telling people about this game. And the whispers are going to translate into perhaps maybe a third year, or maybe even a brand new game. And a mode like survival, with all the mechanics, the depth of experience, and the magnitude of mistakes that have been made from Division 1 and Division 2, I believe genuinely that if they are to do anything first as a DLC, it would definitely have to be this, be it year 3 or be it the very first iteration of DLC in an upcoming so-called, in quote, hopefully they make it Division 3 game. But these are my thoughts. I wanted to hear what you guys would think about this, so I decided to make a video regarding this particular discussion. Talk to me in the comment section. I'll be happy to engage in some conversation. Thank you guys for watching the video. I appreciate y'all so much. You guys don't understand how much it means to me that you guys do watch my videos and comment and interact. I really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. I do. Thank you so much. And I'll talk to y'all in another video. Peace.